Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at how to manage Advanced Threat Protection anti-spam settings. I've logged onto Office 365 Security and Compliance Center with an administrative account such as the Global Administrator or a Security Administrator. On the left hand side I'll click Threat Management and then scroll down to Policy, and then I'll click Anti-Spam. Most of the settings found here are also in the Exchange Online within the protection area. This screen is here for convenience, but it allows you to manage the standard and custom anti-spam filter settings. You can see the standard settings which cannot be modified unless you create a custom setting, which I've already done and we'll see more of later. In the standard settings we can see the spam action, where the bulk email is marked as spam, the bulk threshold, whether safety tips are turned on, and the reaction to phishing email. We can also populate allow and block lists and turn on spoof intelligence. These settings are global. If we want to fine-tune our spam settings, we need to scroll to the top and then click Custom. Once we have any custom settings in place, the standard settings are ignored. I'll create my own policy shortly, but first let's review an existing policy. I've already created a policy that blocks all email from Iceland. For some reason we had a lot of Icelandic spam and I wanted to block that country email. Let's edit the policy. We can see the spam and bulk actions, which is to move messages that we suspect of junk or spam to the junk email folder. Any phishing emails will be quarantined, and we've set our spam confidence level or threshold to 7. We've decided to retain spam for 30 days, and we've turned on safety tips. For this policy we don't need allow lists or block lists. I'll review the international spam and I can see that I've blocked the country code IS. We can refine the spam properties by increasing the spam score, by looking at remote sites, ports and IP addresses. The rest of the options in the Mark as Spam area will guarantee that any message which matches any of these settings will be scored as spam. Notice that by default all of these advanced tests are turned off. You can also test the impact of changing these settings by using the test mode options at the bottom. Finally, you need to specify the custom settings are applied to a specific group, user or domain. In this case, I've applied this to the domain. And I'll click Save. If I select the connection filter and then edit the policy, if we edit the connection filtering, we can add IP addresses to the IP allow for safe messages and also the IP blocked list. At the bottom, you can also select to turn on the safe list. This is a list that Microsoft maintains of trusted third-party senders. Selecting this checkbox skips spam filtering on messages sent from these senders, and thus ensures that they are never mistakenly marked as spam, and this speeds up email processing. Back on the main screen, I'll now click the Outbound Spam Filter policy, and then click Edit Policy. Here we can send a BCC copy of an outbound email which is believed to be spam to an email address such as an IT administrator or your security analyst. The last setting will notify an administrator when a sender has been blocked from sending spam. Finally, the spoof intelligence policy allows you to see if any users have been incorrectly classified as being spoofed. If there are any, then we could review the list and decide what to do for each spoof user. When we create a new spam filter policy, we're able to configure each of the items in turn. By default, the standard and custom policies can apply to the whole domain. If you want to fine-tune the settings for a specific domain, group, or set of users, you need to create a new policy and then specify the users, groups, or domains by creating recipient-based rules. Notice that once you've created a policy, you can enable or disable the policy.